Hey there, I am back with another deck review, and today we're going to look at the 10-in-1 collection from Dave Koenig. Dave is a tattoo artist based in Nebraska, and when his shop was closed due to the pandemic for a few months, he decided to use the time to hone his artistic skills. And during that time, he received a challenge from a fellow artist to produce his own artist series deck of cards. He chose the theme of vintage circuses and really went to work, threw himself headfirst into the project, and the deck you see here is the result. It launched on Kickstarter, was massively successful, and I'm really excited to get these in hand and check them out with you guys. So let's get right into it. All right, starting with the tuck case. This is the red version of the deck. There's also a blue version of the deck. Same thing, just a color swap to blue colors, but I'm a big fan of red deck, so that's the one that I picked up from the campaign. And it's done on a glossy finish stock, nice thick stock to it. And it's covered with what almost feels like embossing, but it's actually this UV spot printing. It's applied in various parts to kind of match with the design. You can see that ultra glossy finish that you get from it. And it's applied so thickly that you get a raised texture that really resembles embossing. It's a great and unique finish, and one that I haven't really seen used, at least to this degree, on a deck of cards. But really cool finish. And then the detail in the artwork on this, though, is the real main draw on it. The outer border is a really thick border with tons of kind of flourishes and scroll work and filigree all the way around. You get these beautiful kind of branches or almost like feathers running down the side. Really ornate, and tons of just very intricate detail into that hand-drawn design around the outside. In the center, rather than the name of the deck, you get Koenig's name, the artist's name there in the center. And then, of course, your eyes drawn right away to the two R-rated contortionists there in the center. Beautiful character work that he does on these. Love the form that he's able to put into it. Almost a slightly cartoonish feel, but at the same time, really strong character work that he does on these. But really getting right off the bat into one of the classic circus characters, right out of the gate. So beautiful artwork on these, and of course the characters are what are covered with that UV spot printing. You're hit with more circus themes as you turn to the sides here, and you get, again, heavily enhanced with the UV spot printing. The kind of manic clown on one side, and then a sad clown on the other side. Bottom has some very simple ad copy for 10-in-1 Dave Koenig and made in China. These are printed by MPC Playing Cards. Interesting to see them making a full-scale deck. That arrow, once again, on the top of the deck, nothing too special there. And then on the back here, you get a UV spot enhanced version of the back design of the card. So lots of extra little shine that you're not getting on the actual back design, but a little preview there. We'll look at some of those details in a second. Finishes with just this small square seal here with a kind of angry clown on it. And then really small inner flap. MPC does these much narrower flaps, but you can see that deep burgundy color that's used on the stock. Nothing printed on the inner flaps, and you get some nice interior printing in this argyle pattern. And just that little hit of pink really stands out with just how bright it is against that kind of vintage dark feel to the overall tuck case. But beautiful tuck case, and already getting that hint that we're in for a real treat with the artwork on this one. All right, so that's the tuck case. Let's get into the back design of the cards, and here you go. So, already saw a preview of this, and it is absolutely beautiful when you see it in person. The detailing on this one, the hand-drawn style, all of it is absolutely fantastic. More of those beautiful filigree all the way around the edges, some of the same patterns that we saw on the tuck case. This time done, of course, without the UV spot printing, but really just super ornate. The shading that he achieves on this one, the depth that he's able to get in this one. I mean, you can almost feel like background elements and foreground elements all created on a 2D card. It's just absolutely fantastic artwork. And the central image here, this is sort of his logo with the eyeball and the arrow running through it. That's the Dave Koenig logo, if you will. And that one element kind of leaves this as a one-way back design. So because of the way the eyelid and the arrow run through, this keeps this from being a two-way back design. But if you're gonna do a one-way back design, I really much prefer it being kind of constrained to that central element, so it's not too distracting if you're using it in fans or anything like that. But finishes out with a nice thin poker border around the edge, done in kind of this almost kind of an ivory color rather than a pure white. But once again, fantastic artwork on this one. Dave really is a truly talented artist. But into your jokers, and we get our first look at the circus characters making their way to the cards themselves. Nice thick border around these, a little bit of a kind of a watermark effect with a little bit of detailing there in the two corners. That fancy Joker and an almost kind of Gothic or Victorian font there in the corners. And then circus characters featured in the center. The first Joker features a clown on one side. He's juggling a few balls up in the air, and the other side playing a violin. Kind of a happy and sad clown look there. Cool look to those. And then the other one features a pair of contortionists, kind of like on the front of the tuck case, but you can see them kind of folded into that center frame. Really kind of cool. I love the masks or those sort of blank stares that they have on their face. Kind of gives that slightly creepy vintage vibe that I think is just so cool about circuses. All right, so there's the two Jokers. You also get an extra card that features just a little bonus piece of artwork. I guess you could use this as like a third Joker if you'd like. But these are the Stanley twins. They're a pair of conjoined twins, complete with Siamese cats all around them. But again, really kind of in a beautiful pose there, almost making kind of an abstract heart shape with their bodies. And again, nice fancy details here on the sort of archway that surrounds them. So very cool extra card. The four aces all get back into the sort of R-rated characters. All of them feature different women in different poses. This is something that he features, this kind of form is something he features a lot in his tattoo work. But all of them really beautiful, almost like they're contortionists, I guess, but they're all kind of bending themselves into an abstract representation of the pip they represent. So the Ace of Spades has her there. You can kind of see how her body's loosely formed in that spade shape. And just to reinforce it, he has these sort of wisps of details in the background forming a lighter spade pip behind her, almost like wisps of smoke all the way through. But really beautiful. Again, the figures that he draws, absolutely just powerful, strong, beautiful figures. You get a really kind of fancy font and custom pip there in the corner, but nice, easily readable index and pip in the corner. My only wish is I wish these had been set a little bit more to the corner. They're kind of brought in on the card quite a bit, but overall, still really beautiful artwork. And the other aces kind of follow suit, no pun intended. You get more red hues on the classic red cards, the hearts and the diamonds. And then on the black cards, still little hits of red, but a lot more blacks and grays that are brought in. But all of them absolutely beautiful shapes. This one is just kind of a mesmerizing card, just how, you know, her body naturally creates that heart shape. Just a great flow to this one. So there's the four aces. Fantastic, of course. And then into the number cards. And the number cards all feature a much plainer look to them overall. No more scroll work around, just kind of more of a blank face. Done with the custom pips there in the corner. These nice elongated pips, almost with little drips of ink on them as well. But really kind of striking font to these. Interestingly, he went with a different sort of positioning and style of the pip and the index in the corners compared to the ace. You'll see here the nice large index, big fancier pip, and a little bit smaller and no exterior border on the number cards. Interesting choice to differentiate with these, but overall I think nice custom pips. I just would have liked maybe a little bit more continuity with the aces. That'd be my only wish. But there's into the diamonds. Just love how those elongated pips flow together. I mean, especially as you get to the higher numbers, like they almost kind of interconnect to form a row. There's the clubs. Really nice. And into the hearts. So great custom pips, but pretty standard layout on these, but that beautiful artwork. And you even get little details. You can see the lighter red in the middle, kind of forming an extra little shape on these. And then finally, we get to the court cards. And if you haven't gotten a hint already from the other cards and the tuck case, we're gonna get to see more of his fantastic artwork as we kind of journey through some of the characters you'll see in the circus. All of the court cards feature this beautiful border, either in blue on the black cards, kind of this dark blue, or in kind of a more deep burgundy on the classically red cards. Each one features a two-way court card, or one-way court card, I should say, so it's different on each side. So each one's going to feature a different character, kind of this almost cartoonish look to them, but kind of a fun look overall. And so here you can see this guy here with a crab claw. That's not a freak show act that I'm particularly familiar with, but you can see him there with that kind of, I don't know, proud look on his face on one side, and on the other side, as he's kind of eating the cupcake that he had in front of him. So there's Crab Boy on the Jack of Spades. The Queen of Spades features a tarot reader there with cards in her hands on one side and then a crystal ball on the other. Here you have another one of the staples, the strongman and the man who gets shot from the cannon. In this case, it's the same person. So on one side, you can see him there with the smoking cannon. And on the other side with the big heavy ball the strongman might lift. Here's one. I'm not familiar with this one either. This one, I think he calls the Devil Whisperer. Not sure if that was a common trope in circuses in some way, but really cool look to the character over there. There's the Bearded Woman, another really classic look to her. So there she is in different poses on the two sides. Oh, the Lion Tamer. This is a really cool one. You can see him there with the lion kind of poking over his shoulder and then kind of figuratively taming the lion on the other one as he has the lion kind of quite literally clutched in his hands with that self-satisfied smile. This is probably my favorite card right here. The King of Diamonds is a great one. The Performing Bear with the symbols on one side, accordion on the other. You get the Snake Charmer. That's a really beautiful one. These little fans around the side. This is a very different looking card compared to some of the others. I'm not sure what it is about it, but I do like that Snake Charmer look. But all of them just absolutely beautiful artwork. There's the mime. Just fantastic details on these. There's a monkey performer with a little curved or a wavy knife there in his hands. Different weapons on the two sides. Just absolutely great artwork. Just tremendous talent that he has as an artist. And of course, the classic Sword Swallower. It's another one of my favorite cards. You have him swallowing the sword on one side, and then maybe him after a less successful attempt on the other side. So now it's just his skeleton with the sword inside. So fantastic artwork all the way through, just absolutely beautiful. Now, as far as handling on these, I've got to say, you know, if you haven't checked out NPC decks before, really recommend checking them out. These handle absolutely beautifully. And I was not expecting that coming out of NPC, but I've been really pleasantly surprised with some of their decks that I felt in the past. They've really stepped up their game in terms of production value, and these handle absolutely fantastically. Great for gameplay, shuffling, however you want to use them, these are going to handle great. I'm really excited to maybe see more creators venture out and try NPC as their printing company of choice for the decks, because I think NPC really has upped their game, and I'm excited for more creators to check them out. As far as uses of the deck, I think for me, honestly, I mean, this is a great artwork deck, obviously. Dave's a phenomenal artist. I think I've said it about 40 times during this video, and it's deserved every time I've said it. So as an art deck, just kind of thumbing through this deck, looking for little details in the pictures, I think it's worth every penny for that. But it's also a deck that you could absolutely use for a fun little twist on gameplay or something like that. Obviously, probably a little bit overly custom if you want to use this for Magic, but for gameplay or just as a collector's art deck, I think this one really does fit the bill. So anyway, that is it. That is the look at the 10-in-1 collection from Dave Koenig. Phenomenal job on this one. Hoping to see him create more decks in the future because he has a genuine talent for this. So thanks a lot for a successful Kickstarter campaign. So glad to get this one in hand and be able to share it with you guys. But hope you enjoyed. Make sure to subscribe for more deck reviews and unboxings. Let me know what else you want to see, and I'll see you for the next one.